Hey guys, this is George from the shop. The test questions from last week's quiz, we're going to go over them together. Some of them have a little bit of inaccuracies in them, and always the best information you can get for your particular vehicle is to find the book in that vehicle. And when you're sitting around waiting on students or whatever, open it up and read through it a little bit. It's always good information. So we'll start out with question number 1. The amber lamp showing an engine silhouette with a wrench inside says that engine needs to be overhauled, stop the engine, it has a wrench in it, turn engine off immediately, engine service is needed soon. Actually, none of them are 100% correct, but engine service is needed soon is the closest. It's actually, we don't have wrenches on any of our silhouettes, I do not think, and it means the emissions need serviced. So that's not on there. Somebody's going to have to give you credit for that point, maybe, if you raise a ruckus. Let's go to the next question. Question number 2. The red stop sign graphic with a black engine means that the vehicle needs to be stopped as soon as it is safe to do so. That is true, and it's false at the same time. True that the engine has to be stopped, but the way this is worded makes it seem a little casual. So if that light comes on and you've taken the time to call to base while it's still running down the road, it may be too late, because time base gets with you, or a mechanic hears and says, shut it off now. You might be in a position at that point where you can't. So it's true, but it's also false. And also that red stop sign, not all of them look like that. Don't be looking for that every time. It'll be a red sign for sure with the engine. Might even flash and say stop engine now, but don't exclusively count on seeing that sign. You'll know it when you see it. Next question. Question number 3. The malfunction indicator lamp shows an amber engine silhouette. Take note that there's no wrench inside of it. The operator should write this up in Service Finder for diagnosis and service at the next opportunity. That would be true. And in this instance, the yellow outline of the engine with no wrench in it, which we don't have anyway, I do not believe, this is for an emissions service. So again, if you find the book for your particular vehicle, you should read through it and it'll give you a description of what those lights are for. And the engine ones are the important ones that you should really be aware of. So that is true. You need to write it up. So, next question. Question number 4. The amber lamp that looks like wind blowing droplets over some waves is the DEF lamp. When lit, it means the DEF tank is getting low. True, it could mean that, but it could mean a whole lot of other things too. Like there's a problem with the DEF system. The doser, the heater, it could be a multitude of problems. So it is true that it'll come on when it's low, but you have a gauge to indicate that anyway that you should always be keeping an eye on. So keep an eye on them gauges. Next question. Question number 5. When the check engine lamp, engine with a wrench inside that we do not have, so it'll just be a silhouette of the engine, the amber one, is lit and the DEF lamp is staying on continuously, either the DEF level is getting low or the wrong type of DEF fluid has been used. All that needs to be done to turn these lamps off is to get a new bus. No, to turn these lamps off, fill the DEF tank with the correct fluid. That will not do it. So that is a false. Once that system's contaminated, the whole thing's got to be taken apart drained, flushed, possibly replace sensors, possibly sending unit, depending on what was dumped in it. So that would be false. It goes way beyond just filling it with DEF fluid. Next question. Question number 6. If the check engine lamp is lit, the blank lamps start flashing, that's an indication that the blank level is critically low. So you have your engine lamp that's lit and your DEF light blinking at you. The choices here are DEF and transmission fluid, oil and transmission fluid, DEF and DEF, or DEF and oil. DEF and DEF would be the correct answer, although there's a multitude of other reasons that light would be flashing other than being low on DEF. Next question. Question number 7. A stop engine lamp, red stop sign, along with a flashing DEF lamp and a solid check engine lamp is an indicator that the DEF level is critically low and the vehicle has been fueled without refilling the DEF tank. That very well can be a true answer, but there's a lot of other answers too. One, if I don't think y'all make sure the DEF's filled every time you put fuel in it. So it is true that could be the problem, but there's a lot of other scenarios, and like I indicated before, look in your book and see what all those lights mean, because from vehicle to vehicle it could slightly change, although most of this particulate filter and these DEF lights pretty much mean the same thing. So you have a gauge to keep an eye on your DEF. I suggest you watch your gauge too. Next question number 8. During regeneration, temperature decreases in the exhaust system and an amber high exhaust temperature lamp illuminates. Graphics of air blowing through a thermostat or with. This warns the driver to make sure the exhaust pipe outlet isn't too close to any combustible surfaces or material. That is true in a sense, but let's talk about that for a second here. So, first, during regeneration, the temperature isn't decreasing, and if that light comes on, yeah, it is getting real hot. Mainly, that is to remind you that do not pull that vehicle over into any dry grass or weeds or off the road. Keep it over concrete, because I think it's about 1200 degrees, something like that, and the grass can just burst into flames underneath that bus if that pipe is in the middle of a regen. It gets super hot. So yeah, when that light's on, if you notice when you're running the bus and you stop at a stop sign, that light will come on till you get going again and get air flowing through it. So yeah, it's true, but when it's on, don't park in no high grass. Next question. All right, let's go back to 8 for a second. I misspoke. I told you how it worked, and then I told you true, but it's false, because the temperature does not decrease in the exhaust system. But at least now you know how it works. Next question. Question number 9. This is a real mind blower. I'm going to read it and then I'm going to explain it. The DEF lamp looks like air blowing through a filter, amber in color. It comes on to indicate that PM, which stands for particulate matter or soot, is building up in the system, and regeneration is needed either by running the vehicle at highway speeds for 20 to 30 minutes or longer, or performing an active regeneration. So there's a few ways to answer that based on how it was presented. The DEF lamp looks like air blowing through a filter. Well, that's false. It's amber in color. That's true. It comes on to indicate that PM, particulate matter, is building up in the system. Well, that's false if it's a DEF lamp. So that symbol there is for your diesel particulate filter that collects all that soot that eventually plugs up your system, which is why you need a regen in the first place. So I don't know, I wouldn't ding you any points for answering either true or false, so hope I explained it sufficiently. Next, question number 10. When the exhaust filter lamp and the amber check lamp both come on, but neither is flashing, even the one that is flashing, it's an indicator that a regeneration is needed immediately. True, that is one of the indicators, but not the only one. Next question, 11. When the exhaust filter lamp and the stop engine lamp are illuminated, the soot load has become too much for regeneration to handle. The vehicle will need to be taken to an authorized Cummins location for repair. That would be true if we didn't have insight. Sometimes we can get it to do it ourselves. But generally speaking, if you let it go that long, the engine is already derated and you won't go over 15, maybe 20 mile an hour. I think it starts out at 20, and then within 10 miles or so, you're down to 5 miles an hour because the engine has to breathe. Once that exhaust filter is totally plugged up, the engine has no choice but to derate. And the hotter you get it, with the more soot that's in it, it starts crystallizing and baking in there, and next thing you know, the filter is ruined and it can't be cleaned, cooked, or anything. So yes, that is true. However, we are authorized because we have Cummins Insight, so there you go. That is correct. So just to recap something here, with the dash lights and the color that they're displaying, red is never any good. Always get it shut down as quickly as possible. If you're coming up into town or something with nowhere to pull over and that light comes on, if you have time, get it pulled over. If you wait till you are coming through the middle of town with nowhere to pull over before you can get a hold of base, or somebody has to tell you to pull over, it's probably already too late. So anytime you see a red engine light come on, it's a pretty good idea to just shut it down as quickly as possible and call in. Amber lights, kind of the DEF lights for the DPF filter, that's pretty important. Always call that in. You don't have to pull over and shut it off, but call it in. And any other amber light, for the most part, they can probably be written up when you get back, unless things start flashing and beeping, then it just got worse. But it's always a good idea to continuously, just like you do in your own car that you take really good care of because you had to pay for it, the dash instrument cluster, oil pressure, water temperature, as long as none of those fail on you and go out of range, you probably can't hurt too much. So keep that in mind, and please try to find a book for your particular vehicle. If you can't find one, come see me. I'll try to locate the information for you. International buses, all that regeneration information is posted up above your left shoulder. So you'd be surprised how many people don't know it's there. So thank you for your time and enjoy.